Good morning, everyone. We hope you're settled and ready for a day of insights. So a very brief introduction from us. So I'm Georgie and this is my colleague Lucy, and we both work for Milkround. So for those who don't know, Milkround is one of the leading student and graduate jobs boards. And we've been around for over 20 years and take pride in our engagement and commitment to listening to students so that we can translate this messaging and advise employers on the best way to attract and retain talent. So what we're going to speak to you about today is, firstly, we're going to introduce you to our newest and most exciting research in the graduate market, known to us as our Candidate Compass Report. So we look into career confidence and career expectations in students and graduates. We'll then go through the key findings before exploring the disparities between males and females. We'll then go through social mobility, how career confidence and expectations of the working world vary depending on an individual's ethnic background, and how we can reach this audience and improve social mobility in graduate attraction and retention strategies. So finally, we'll go into roundtable discussion, which we'll come onto a bit later.
So Milkround's research. So we've been surveying students and graduates since 2012, finding out about their career expectations and how we can better inform employers. Over the years, this has evolved and we've delved into different topics to ensure that we understand certain trends. This year, we had over 7,000 students and graduates taking part, telling us about their career confidence and concerns when it comes to leaving their studies and entering the working world. For 2019, we focused on understanding graduates' mindsets and their fears of the employment world, the increased concern of mental health, employer expectations, how prepared graduates feel about the workplace and whether they're ready, as well as all of these topics, expectations, and how they change depending on social backgrounds and gender.
So here is a breakdown of our respondents. 68% of those who completed our survey identify as female. So this is pretty common in our research. We find that females are really open to sharing their opinions, sharing their thoughts and their feelings about their career confidence. So it's really nice to see that we are getting that from females. In terms of age split and current status, our focus was on students and graduates and those who are about to enter the world of work, looking at mainly Generation Z. So the pool of candidates who employers like yourselves are looking and wanting to attract within graduate recruitment. So on to our key findings. We have some really positive key findings to discuss with you, such as 83% of respondents are feeling confident that they're going to break into their dream industry. And this push for putting interests first, with 78% of people saying that their interests were the main driver when choosing a career path. This shows that Gen Z are driven to go after what they want to do, rather than what their family and peers think, and what the salary potential could be alone. Furthermore, a quarter said that they expect a salary of 20k or less when they first start out. This is up from last year, showing that graduates would consider a lower salary if they're going to get the right job. But we also found some clear challenges as well, with 83% of candidates being concerned that Russell Group universities are prioritised in the graduate recruitment market, and only 13% of respondents believe university has prepared them enough with the skills to go into the workplace. Our findings around mental health were sadly interesting. 1 in 3 stated they suffer with mental health issues, with 44% of respondents saying that they don't feel that they could be open with their employer about their mental health. Ultimately, women still lack confidence, they lack more confidence than their male counterparts when it comes to choosing their dream career, with 33% of females seeing their lack of confidence as a barrier to getting into their dream career, compared to 23% of males. We therefore need to be mindful of these challenges and adapt campaigns accordingly, so that young people feel confident about their job and okay with opening up about their struggles. So Lucy will now take you through our findings specifically into male and female confidence.
So as part of our research, we were interested to find out about the career paths of students and graduates wanting to go into. We found there's various gender trends, such as the number of career paths which were more popular. So for women, media and publishing, 10% of women selected this versus 4% of men. Pharmaceuticals, where again 10% of women selected this versus 2% of men. And the charity sector, where 3% of women chose that versus 1% of men. We can also see there's a clear difference between men and women and their interest in the tech industry, with 3% of men selecting this versus 1% of women. We need to assess why these roles are seen as less desirable to females and try and change the perceptions of this audience. Then moving on to other disparities, we also found differences between males and females when looking at whether students and graduates considered any other alternatives to university. For example, 57% of females considered university as their next step, post-school versus 49% of males. Males are almost 10% more likely to consider apprenticeships than females. Entry-level roles are a very low comparison for both men and women, and females are more likely to take a gap year. With that in mind, we wanted to take you through our findings on career expectations and concerns in more detail. So when we dig a little bit deeper into our candidate compass findings and consider career expectations of men and women and how they differ, we can see that the gender pay gap still persists. Whilst gender pay gap reporting shows that company leadership teams are becoming more focused on diverse and inclusive workforces, still needs to be done in this area. After all, findings highlight that greater diversity results in greater profitability and business value. So looking at our candidate compass data, our research shows that 23% of men cite a lack of confidence as a barrier versus 33% of women, showing that females believe their confidence could hinder them in working in their dream career, more so than their male counterparts. When we look at mental health, we can see this is also a more prevalent barrier for women, with 19% stating this as a barrier versus 13% of men. Men also have higher salary expectations, with 32% of males expecting over £45,000 a year after 5 years, and only 16% of females expecting this same amount. Unsurprisingly, with lower salary expectations, 36% of women are concerned about pay in the future, compared with 24% of men. So then we looked at how long respondents thought it would take to secure their first role. We found that 37% of males and females believe it will take them longer than 6 months to secure their role, and 14% said it would take over 12 months. When we look at the gender disparities, we can see that 38% of females believe it will take them longer than 12 months, and 33% of males, so a slightly smaller proportion. It's interesting to see the number of students who feel it may take them some time to secure their first job out of university. Offering tips on how you can stand out in an application and being comprehensive within job descriptions could help to combat this. So then we asked students and graduates what their biggest fears were when they were joining the workplace. Predominantly, 1 in 3 said they fear they will underperform. When we delve deeper, we can see that 1 in 5 females stated this fear compared to 9% of males, therefore highlighting the stark contrast between males and female career confidence. Remember to support your new employees joining the workforce around this. Set clear monthly objectives, outline transparency and what's expected within their role, by having regular one-to-ones to ensure that they know that you're open to questions as well. So 32% said that they fear they will get stuck with no development opportunities, something that's very important to students and graduates, even over salary. Again, outlining objectives from the start will help them to see their development opportunities clearer. So we've looked at differences in career confidence and more specifically seen that mental health is more prevalent within women. To expand on this further, we looked at how many respondents currently consider themselves to have a mental health issue. We found that 1 in 3 students and graduates consider themselves to have this mental health issue, and of which 78% were female. This shows that females not only see mental health as a barrier to working in their dream career, but over 3/4 of those who suffer with mental health issues are in fact female too. Employers therefore need to ensure that they are showing inclusivity and sensitivity, whilst offering practical support to budding employees, showing that mental health shouldn't be detrimental to employment. Despite ground being made in raising awareness and being accepting of mental health, 44% still feel that they couldn't be open about their mental health with their employer. So this feeds into imposterism, whereby individuals feel that they're not worthy enough for a role or able to excel with it. Bonnie, from our sister company Total Jobs, will be discussing this topic further and giving some great insight later. But for now, our research from last year focused on this, revealing that it's more prevalent in women due to lower salary expectations and a lack of confidence, which could be costing them their dream job and career opportunities. So how can we help address this? So first of all, we need to recognise that it's normal. So by its very nature, imposterism can be very isolating, since it makes people feel like they don't belong. So make sure that you bolster confidence and morale where possible. Number 2, so studies show that while men tend to believe that they can do jobs that they are underqualified for, women are more likely to believe that they aren't right for the role, even if they are overqualified. Try and create equal opportunities for people of all genders and encourage those who may be experiencing imposter syndrome to go for promotions. Challenge structurally created beliefs. So we need to continue shaking off the idea that the prototype for a powerful person is white, male and middle-aged. Do what you can to offer and encourage opportunities across gender, age, ethnicity and race. Generally, women fear social rejection more than men, making them more likely to work for free, out of hours, not use the no word, and let people take credit for their work. Create an environment of communication to ensure that no one gets barricaded into this kind of corner. Otherwise, it could lead graduates to feel like they're underpaid, undervalued, and exhausted. As you can see, there's still a clear gap in male and female career confidence, which we've seen over our years of conducting candidate compass research. We're definitely seeing uplifts, and as businesses continue to make positive changes, we believe that we'll continue to see changes in processes and structures. Listen to our tips and to continue to inspire everyone in your workplace.
So I'd say that that's some pretty interesting stuff already. Whenever I hear any of this stuff, I find it so interesting, and there's always so much more we can take out of that. So we did go quite deep into our findings between male and female disparities, but now I'm going to talk to you about our findings around social mobility. So, whilst universities themselves are working with the government to increase social mobility amongst students, it is still an ongoing challenge. I think we all know that. We'll now take a look into the impact and differences between those from different backgrounds before going into how employers can help to improve this metric in their hiring strategies to create a more diverse workforce. So firstly, we wanted to consider those students and graduates who received free meals at school. Our research shows that 15% of students and graduates did, with both male and females being in proportion. When we compare this to whether they believe they will earn over £35,000 per year, 5 years post-graduation, we can see that only 13% of those who had free school meals think this, versus 83% of those who didn't. A pretty considerable difference, and this is showing quite a contrast in salary expectations. When we considered those who stated whether either of their parents attended university, we found that half of respondents were the first generation to attend. Our research also shows that 8% of respondents are concerned that they will not get the chances they deserve due to their background. However, it appears positive change is happening on that front in terms of university intake. So of those who answered the question, 42% of those who identify as an ethnic minority and are currently at university say their parents didn't go to university themselves, showing in education terms that there is a slight upward trend. So our research also shows that students and graduates believe practicing blind recruitment is the best way that employers can show they are attracting a diverse workforce, with 41% of people selecting this as an answer. When looking at ethnic backgrounds, this was also the most favoured option amongst all ethnicities, aside from those from a Pakistani background who favoured removing minimum requirements, and Bangladeshi respondents who favoured offering more opportunities in disadvantaged areas. Food for thought there. Our candidate compass data also shows that employer reputation and salary are top reasons which attracted a candidate to apply for a role. When we compare this to ethnic minorities, we found that salary is listed as the top factor, whereas those from white British or white Irish backgrounds favour employer reputation. Employers could focus on ensuring that the salary on the role is displayed within job descriptions, rather than noting competitive. This will make it clearer to those from all backgrounds what they can expect the salary to be, and I think it's something we should all be doing. So to end this section, we'd like to touch on a key highlight we mentioned earlier. 83% of respondents are confident that they'll break into their dream industry. When it comes to looking at individual ethnic backgrounds, we can see that ethnic minorities are more confident than white British that they will work in their dream industry, with almost a quarter of all white British respondents believing they won't. The ethnic group that had the lowest number of respondents to this question were from Asian or Asian British Bangladeshi backgrounds. Overall, we can safely say that it's inspiring to see the belief in students and graduates that they'll be cracking into the industries they hope to go into. I'm sure that the majority of people here can join me in saying that searching for your first job is a pretty daunting one, and having the ambition to strive and go after what you want to can be pretty challenging, but the graft is certainly worth it, and will continue to support students in finding the career that's right for them.
So we just wanted to take you through a case study that gave some ideas on how to connect with younger audiences who are looking to enter employment and how to boost social mobility in your attraction activities. So we were really excited to work with Access Accountancy for this campaign made up of several accountancy firms and qualification bodies. As part of this, we had a clear objective in place, which was to engage with Year 12 students from disadvantaged socioeconomic backgrounds across the UK and their influencers, inspiring ambitious young people into the accountancy profession. So from our experiences and success, we know the key importance of face-to-face engagement and speaking to students directly to demystify any perceptions or confusions and motivate them to consider other options. So our campaign took a three-prong approach whereby we put together 6 content articles on our popular advice site, as well as an overarching page promoting Access Accountancy. This was digitally promoted to target schools across the UK. To supplement this, we also ran a competition asking students to test their knowledge, get involved in our content series, read the articles, answer any accountancy-focused questions. Students could win a number of prizes such as work experience days and shadowing opportunities. Finally, we delivered 10 workshops, and these were to schools on the Sutton Trust list, so giving students the opportunity to listen, ask questions, and network with Access Accountancy firms and their subsidiaries. So as a result, we reached 1,000 students through workshops and assemblies, we gained over 4,000 visits to our content hub, and we received over 200 competition entries from engaged students. The most successful element of the campaign in boosting social mobility based on the feedback we received from schools was the workshop element. By attending disadvantaged schools that wouldn't be normally given these opportunities, we were able to show them what an accountancy career was really like. We also heard stories from current employees and companies such as EY who have also come from disadvantaged backgrounds, helping to demystify and encourage those who haven't had as much opportunity that they can get into this sector and thrive.
So, we would like to end our talk on giving you some of our top tips for improving social mobility and diversity within your graduate recruitment. So, top tip number 1, analyse your reasons for having a social mobility focus. Is everyone in your company willing to make a change? Before trying to improve this metric and focusing on the outcomes and KPIs alone, first look at the reasoning behind these decisions. Is this currently benefiting your company, not just in recruitment, but also retention too? Are all individuals given the same progression opportunities? Top tip number 2, understand your current application and interview structures. Research other processes. Is there something you could do differently, i.e. blind recruitment that we know candidates are looking for? In our Candidate Compass report, we have a case study on Rare Recruitment, who are leading the way when it comes to social mobility with their integrated software which flags candidates on different social mobility metrics and removes recruitment bias. Consider a fair and trackable approach to measure your efforts. Top tip number 3, remove certain criteria from the job description. If a degree isn't required to do a job, then don't include it. Is there anything else on your job description that you could remove? So at Milkround, we encourage employees to speak about their company in an authentic way and share video content about their culture and opportunities to really bring their brands to life. In an era where people feel more confident and open to stand out, let's break the boundaries and show your organisations in a real light whilst being professional at the same time. Top tip number 4, allow minority groups to have a voice. So within our wider parent company, Axel Springer, they have launched a youth council, giving the opportunity to younger employees to challenge the leadership team. Is this something that applies to your business? Any internal groups where people are able to share their opinions and develop their skills is certainly something to consider. Top tip number 5, nurture diversity at all levels, not just in the hiring. New employees need to look up and respect their leaders too. It's important to consider what your company leadership team currently looks like. Make sure you analyse your data, any data you currently have, to see where social mobility can improve. And my final top tip for you is to consider reverse mentoring. So pair managers with younger employees across the company so that they can learn from each other. This can open up so many opportunities as well as improving inclusivity, increasing retention, and is also so beneficial, not just for the younger employees, but also for managers and leaders themselves. So P&G tested out reverse mentoring with disabled employees, which saw them learning that their internal videos were inaccessible to those with hearing impairments, leading to them to add captions to these videos. It's something that's so important, and again, this can be practiced in so many different ways, especially amongst younger and older generations. So I hope we've now shared enough information with you to get your brains ticking. We'll leave you with these roundtable topics, and also just wanted to remind you that we'll be sharing the full findings from our Candidate Compass report on the morning of the 4th of July. So if you want to come along, please do. Thank you.
Thank you.